Have you ever caught your reflection in a shop window and flinched, as if the man staring back at you were a stranger, pale, uncertain, weighed down by doubt? You've skimmed self-help books, scrolled through motivational memes, chased every shortcut to confidence, but still you wake each morning with that same hollow question: why am I so weak? Nietzsche's answer cuts like steel. Weakness is a choice, a habit, a mindset you can shatter, if only you have the courage to face yourself head on. He thundered across the pages of Beyond Good and Evil with this challenge: become who you are. It wasn't a gentle invitation, it was a command. He demanded that we strip away excuses, abandon the comfortable lies we tell ourselves, and stand naked in the arena of our own becoming. To stop being weak is to stop fleeing your own limits and to charge straight into them, sword raised, heart pounding, willing to bleed for every inch of ground you claim. Look to Winston Churchill, who faced the Blitz with a cigar clenched between his teeth and steel in his gaze. When London burned, he did not promise painless victory. He declared, "If you're going through hell, keep going." Those words were a gale-force wind in the face of despair, refusing to let weakness find a foothold. Churchill's resolve reminds us that courage is a decision made in the darkest hours, not a trait we're born with. Or consider Theodore Roosevelt, who in his youth was weak and asthmatic, bullied by healthier classmates. He refused to accept his body's limitations. In his Rough Rider's uniform, he charged up San Juan Hill, not because he was the strongest or fastest, but because he had chosen to be. He wrote, "Do what you can, with what you have, where you are." That simple creed transformed a frail Ivy Leaguer into an icon of relentless vigor. Nietzsche saw this transformation as the essence of the Übermensch, the overman who fashions himself through struggle. "What does your spirit will?" he asked. "If it wills to comfort, it remains weak. If it wills to wrestle with chaos, to wrest meaning from hardship, it grows strong. You were not meant to live on the sofa of convenience, but to mount the steed of challenge and ride into storms that would break lesser men. Even in the ashes of failure, you find your forge." Audie Murphy, the youngest and most decorated American soldier of World War II, was once a shy Texan kid, terrified of his own shadow. Yet when bullets screamed past his ears, he climbed atop a burning tank destroyer and turned its gun on the enemy. He said, "I did what I had to do." That very phrase is an anvil upon which you can hammer your own resolve. Do what you have to do, regardless of fear, regardless of pain. Weakness is a wound you nurse with excuses. "I don't have time. I'm not gifted. It's too late." But Shackleton, stranded on Antarctic ice with his ship crushed, did not lament the cold or the darkness. He wrote, "Difficulties are just things to overcome." His men followed him across an uncharted wilderness because he refused to see weakness in their broken bodies. He saw only the spark of their will. Nietzsche would have called that spark your will to power, the inner engine that urges you to assert yourself against the void. He taught that every man carries within him a hidden master of ceremonies, a voice that, if obeyed, will orchestrate his ascent. But that voice is drowned out by self-pity unless you train it like a savage hound. You must feed it on trials and expose it to hunger. Only then will it learn to hunt fear and bring back the flesh of triumph. Even the mythic Hercules, burdened with 12 labors beyond mortal endurance, never asked which labor was easiest. He embraced each monster, an armor-plated boar, a 9-headed serpent, a beast that breathed fire, because he understood that his strength was measured not by comfort, but by the horrors he faced without flinching. Each scar was a medal, each wound a lesson. Modern men still face monsters, the dread of failure, the shame of inadequacy, the creeping paralysis of comparison. These beasts slink through social media feeds, whispering that everyone else is stronger, richer, happier. But remember Nietzsche's razor. Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. The abyss is what you make of your fears. Stare it down until it shrinks beneath your glare. Pavel Tsatsouline, the former Soviet physical training instructor who brought hardcore kettlebell training to the West, taught that strength is a skill, one you sharpen a little every day. He said, "A hell of a lot of people are walking around with more muscle mass than sense. Strength without wisdom is brute force. Wisdom without strength is impotent philosophy. You need both. You need to toughen your body against adversity and your mind against the seduction of comfort." Nietzsche exhorted us to say yes to life, even to its cruelties. In The Gay Science, he wrote, "You must be ready to burn yourself in your own flame. How could you become new if you have not first become ashes?" This is the blazing path of transformation. You burn away every softening habit, every clinging fear, until only the steel of your purpose remains. So rise before dawn. Feel the ache in your muscles as proof that yesterday you broke your comfort zone. Breathe in the cold air and let it sear your lungs. Whisper to the failing embers of hesitation, "Not today." Walk into the gym, the office, the battlefield of your daily life with a single vow to refuse weakness, one rep, one task, one decision at a time. Let each step, each rep, each word carved into the day be a bellows that fans your inner fire. When your mind whimpers that you cannot go further, echo back the words of Nietzsche. Become who you are. Do not ask permission from the world. Do not wait for perfect conditions. The perfect man is not born. He is forged in the crucible of necessity. He emerges blistered, yes, but unbroken. His heartbeat is a drum that calls him forward, even when his legs tremble. And when you falter, and you will, let your moment of weakness be a signal for war, not surrender. Remember Churchill's rallying cry, Roosevelt's silent vow, Murphy's bullet-riddled stand, Shackleton's ice-bound march. Channel their resolve. Let their echoes rise in your blood. You are the heir to every warrior who ever refused to yield. Stand tall in the face of your own limits. Grip today by the throat and demand that it yield its stones for your foundation. Build your strength not from a single triumph, but from 1,000 small battles. Each completed rep, each conquered doubt, each low day fought through with grim determination. Stop being weak. Not because the world demands it, but because deep inside you burns a sovereign spark that refuses to be smothered by comfort or fear. Stoke that spark with every sacrifice, every dawn training session, every moment you choose action over inertia. Let your life be a testament to the fierce, unrelenting spirit that Nietzsche praised, the spirit that transforms men into legends. And long after this voice fades, let these words thunder in your mind. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the smith of your own fate. Embrace the heat, seize the hammer, and forge yourself into someone who never flinches, never quits, and never settles for less than the full measure of his becoming. The choice is yours. Stop being weak and become unstoppable. Recall the moment your world tilted and you wondered if you'd ever stand upright again. When every familiar certainty dissolved and you felt lost in your own life. Nietzsche issues you a challenge. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. He doesn't console you with optimism. He arms you with a relentless decree to seize every hardship as raw material for your own forging. Weakness is not a flaw to lament. It is unshaped steel awaiting your hammer. Think of Winston Churchill, who faced the Blitz with London ablaze and every hour a gamble with extinction. He did not promise an easy dawn, but declared, "If you're going through hell, keep going." Those words were more than platitude. They were a battle cry that galvanized a nation. Churchill did not quell his fear. He marched through it, wielding courage as a weapon. His legacy proves that true grit is born in the furnace of crisis, not in padded parlors of comfort. Abraham Lincoln knew defeat as intimately as he knew victory. He lost 8 elections, suffered personal tragedies, and led a fractured nation into civil war. In a letter to a friend, he confessed, "I am not concerned that you have fallen. I am concerned that you arise." Lincoln's strength lay not in avoiding failure, but in the resolve to rise from every ruin. He embodied Nietzsche's call to embrace fate, to say yes to life's bruises and turn them into the pillars of leadership. Thomas Edison, the man who lit the world, failed 1,000 times over inventing the light bulb. When asked about his missteps, he quipped, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Here is the essence of amor fati, to love your journey, including its detours and dead ends, knowing that each failure is a step toward mastery. Edison transformed his relentless experimentation into a monument of innovation, and he refused to let setbacks dictate his worth. Consider Nelson Mandela, who endured 27 years in prison, yet walked free with an unbroken spirit. He emerged not bitter, but determined to heal a divided nation. "It always seems impossible until it's done," he said, reminding us that the greatest chains are those we forge in our own minds. Mandela's life is a testament to Nietzsche's vision of self-overcoming, to turn confinement into a classroom, to convert suffering into the curriculum of change. Even Ludwig van Beethoven, deafness descending like a curse, continued to compose symphonies that still shake our souls. He described his affliction as a glorious misfortune, and in that paradox, he found transcendence. His inner ear, silenced to the world, rang louder than any orchestra. In Beethoven's struggle, you witness the alchemy of chaos into creation, the very process Nietzsche celebrated when he wrote that we must have chaos within us to give birth to a dancing star. Through these icons, Churchill in the darkness of war, Lincoln atop a nation divided, Edison amidst glowing filaments, Mandela behind prison bars, Beethoven within silent halls, we see a pattern. Greatness is not born of privilege, but of unflinching resolve. They did not escape their storms. They stood in their center and let the winds shape them. Nietzsche's doctrine of the eternal return confronts you with an unforgiving question. If this life, your life, were destined to repeat for all eternity, down to this breath, this struggle, would you curse the demon who spoke it, or would you throw your arms wide and cry, "Yes"? To say yes is to own every failure and every triumph as equally sacred. It is to walk through fire and know that you emerge not as ash, but as a phoenix. When you awaken tomorrow, feel the pang of yesterday's doubts as proof that you are alive. Let the ache in your muscles be a reminder that you pushed yourself beyond soft limits. Take that sensation and carry it into your day, into every meeting, every workout, every conversation. Whisper to your own reflection, "I choose to become who I am," and let that vow resonate in your bones. Nietzsche refuses to let you off easy. He does not promise permanent comfort or effortless joy. Instead, he hands you a blade of truth. Become who you are. That mandate is your march order into every battlefield you've ever fled. It is the anthem of every titan who ever rose from ruin to reshape the world. So steel yourself tonight and step into tomorrow with open eyes. Let Churchill's defiance, Lincoln's resilience, Edison's curiosity, Mandela's forgiveness, and Beethoven's transcendence echo in your soul. These are not distant legends. They are blueprints for the life you can build. In the crucible of your own trials, hammer out the man you are meant to be. And when the abyss gapes beneath your feet, stare into it until it shrinks, and then plant your flag. Stand firm, warrior, for your true ascent begins with the refusal to remain weak.